Yep, good to go. Okay. So, firstly, down into turn 1 is where we're going to start. But yeah, I think it was about 26 or so degrees, so if it's cooler than that on the servers, times will naturally be quicker. My breaking point for turn 1 is the start of this, or the end of this curb, sorry. So right here, like right at the end, you can take out the cones. It's similar to Nürburgring. All the way over to the left. And yeah, you can take out all the cones. A big thing for, as I'm sure the rule would be, that you would have to give way to those coming out of the pit lane. In the race, please double check someone's coming out of the pit lane. It is really embarrassing when you crash into someone as they come out of the pit lane. I've done it before. Yeah. But yeah, start of the end of the curb, and then my turn-in point is the start of this curb, this next one, and then basically you want to cut this as much as you can. This is so borderline, it's crazy. Like, the track limits is the yellow. That's not reverse. Is these yellow things? Like, I don't think I could get that close if I tried a second time. I've got to be honest. Like, if you hit these yellow things, it's invalid. These yellow sausages. So, yeah, do with that what you will. But for this particular lap, I got pretty bloody close. Now, the goal out of here still is you want to set up for this right, because this right-hander is so much more important. That's why you have to cut so much on the inside there, as much as you can. But another thing is you have to make sure you slow up enough so you can keep the car to the left here. Like here, I'm still mid-track, really. I'm not all the way over to the right. I get far enough over to the left that if you watch this little yellow thing on the curb, I hit the curb after that. So then the car doesn't get like a weird bounce. That's very common with this curb, because you have to take this curb. You can't drive around it. You do have to hit this curb a lot and cut it as much as you can. I don't actually cut it much in this case, but yeah, the goal is, I think in the Mustang I was holding full over this curb. The goal is you can do that, but cars like the Macca, Lambo, all those smaller cars, you're gonna have to have a little bit of a lift, but not a full lift. I call it a blend. I say a blend when it's not fully off. So this here on the bottom right, I would call a blend, as it's not all the way off. As if we look at the throttle traces, I'm off, still holding throttle all the way through before I feed back on. But yeah, the biggest thing for me is to make sure I get the car slowed down enough here so that I can stay to the left and take a late enough apex to the right with enough curb and enough throttle so that I can get on the power as soon as I come off the curb. And then all I'm doing is watching for track limits, which is just the yellow sausage curbs. So I still had a little bit more room on this particular lap. Any questions on that one? Don't actually have chat open. Hold on.
No, all good.
All good? No worries. Okay. So braking for turn, what are we now? 4? 1, 2, no, 3. Is the 100 mark. Paul Ricard's amazing with brake markers. I'm going to say it again and again and again. They have, I love tracks that give you lines and all that stuff for braking markers. Thank you, track designers. But yeah, it's bang on this line. Just hit the brakes as hard as you can. Get it stopped. I stay out wide as much as I can and and make sure I hit the apex with the car pointing further towards the next corner as I can, so I don't have to do much rotation in this part of the track. because it's such a quick transition, you want to do your rotation as early as you can so that you're not wasting time turning, slowing down to rotate into the next part. You've already done the rotation and now you're ready to turn into the next part of the next corner. You again cut this curb, but you've just got to watch track limits again, which is again the yellow sausage curbs. A good reference is just to use these yellow things, as they're basically everywhere. Now, a lot of people have a misconception with this corner, is that you need to come over to the right to get back to the left and all that sort of stuff. For me, I just drive it straight to the first apex. Like, literally, I haven't come out at all. I've driven it straight to the not to the apex, but to the curb, and then this curb hooks you round. Basically, it just, if you look at it, it's sort of got that indent in the middle of it, and you hook your inside wheels on that and accelerate out, and it just hooks you around, and it's nice. The Mac is really nice out of there as you grab second gear, and you get fed into here really nice. Now, this is a bit ironic that I said Paul Ricard's great for braking markers, because I don't actually have a good or even a braking marker at all for this corner. I mean, God, what's something we could look at here? I think I was looking at how close the apex was to the edge of my screen here. I think that's what I used in the race. But if I'm honest, I think most of the time I'm using the rubber on the ground, which is bad because obviously you're guessing each time and you don't have that consistency. But then again, I don't really think there's much else you can go off. I mean, you could probably try and... Is that one? Can you, like, go off the... Oh, yeah. So the red and white curb, the start of that, for me, that is when that end finishes, like, hits the edge of my screen. That would be when I'm hitting the brakes in this case. This corner's really tricky. This next section's really tricky. So I've gone down to first, but then I'm off the brakes by now. Like, I only have a short jab just to get into first. So brakes, 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 off the brakes. And I'm coasting, shifting a second because the Macca likes the acceleration. Again, track limits is yellow ripple strips. On the power, cutting as much as I can. Getting all the way to the left so that this opens up. Now for the Macca, again, because it's got that low speed, the low rev acceleration, I'm pretty sure I go into third through here. Yes, I do. Now, you want to get on this curb so that it hooks you round. But then again, it depends what car you're in. You do have to play around with this a bit. This is the best way I found how to do it. The Lambo should be pretty good doing it this way. Other than that, I don't have much experience. The Mustang, Merc and all that, destroy this. It'll hook you around so nice. But yeah, another thing is I don't lift fully through this little bit. It's a blend. It's a very big blend because I barely have any throttle on here. But I do have throttle on the whole time I'm over that curb and the whole time through this bit. This is a little wide, I must say. I'd like to be probably another car width or half a car width to the right, so that I can set up better for the run onto the straight. But yeah, this bit's really tricky. Another thing, just careful of track limits. Track limits is when you hit those yellow sausage curbs with your left-hand tire. So shifting third, yeah. But yeah, does that make sense? That bit, because I know that's probably where a lot of us will struggle.
So why don't you want to go as wide as you've gone there?
Because
to run it wide.
Because it tightens up your run onto the straight. So here I have to fight the car a lot to get back over. Like, I don't actually come over enough here. Like, I probably need to come over another 2 car widths. Because the further right you get here, is the straighter the car is when you cut this curb, therefore it makes the straight longer. Do you get me? It gives the car more time to pick up speed, and it straightens out this last corner, so you're not binding up the car, and the car is able to be free as you come through here and gain more speed as you go along. Another thing is, right on this little bit here on the line, it tends to lose a little bit of grip. Even though there is rubber there, this whole bit here is programmed to have the same amount of grip because it's off the track and all that stuff. So as you come on here, you lose a little bit of grip. So just be wary of that as well, as I've hit this and spun bloody into the wall 1,000 times. But yeah, that's probably a little tight. I'd probably maybe a car width to the right in this section I would go. Now, in my brain, and I think this is how it works, but the more you cut this, the better the straight is my very simple terminology of it. So to a certain degree, you have to be over to the right enough for this to be affected, because again, it's the same concept. The car's further to the right, you cut the corner more, therefore corner's straighter, therefore it's a longer straight. No lift, obviously. That's really not even big enough of a cut. The cut you can get down to is like in the right hand side wheels, like all the way down into this curb down here. Like, and I mean all the way down. Like, I've literally had yeah, it feels like you're basically not on the track because you're not. So yeah, it's all the way down in here that you can get to, and it just straightens the car up. Then you can run all the way out. Just don't hit these little pontoon things, whatever they're called, as that's just an invalid sort of. It just makes your lap invalid. Sort of very, very slowly drift your way across to the left here. I'm skipping it because it's a long straight. Now, probably one of the deadliest, or probably actually I'd go second deadliest, because the corner after this is probably deadlier with how precise you have to be. For the McLaren in particular, this corner is just a pain, because the way the Macca is with its aero is you have to hold throttle as the same time as you brake to keep the rear in check. I know other cars are like that. I just don't know which one. So if you are dying a lot in this particular corner, try and hold a bit of throttle on through here. So the braking is... I aim for the start of this, like the start of this red and white curb, but by the time I broke, it's a lot deeper than that. Actually, even here I might be aiming for the 50. But it's in between there. It's probably closer to the 50 than what you think, but it's between that range. You've just got to keep in mind, the later you brake, the longer you have to wait to get back on the throttle. So you've just got to find a spot that works for you to get your best exit, as well as carry enough speed through here. For reference, my top speed was 284 for this. I do hit 285 sometimes. But yeah, if I slow this right down, actually, it's very... Is anyone driving the Ferrari, did you say?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll take that as a no.
I'm not sure.
Ferrari in this corner is death.
Is it? I guess they would do the same thing as what I'm doing here. It's very slight, like it's not a lot. When I mean hold throttle, I mean it's literally 5%. Like it's bugger all. Like, yeah. And I basically hold that till I get to the apex, and then flat, and then basically it's basically from. It's really tricky if I go on board. So this is my view. It's really tricky from the apex. So this is the apex. You can't see the exit of the corner here. So to a certain degree, it's a bit of a guessing game to whether or not you're going to make the track limits or not. Because the track limits, you can go all the way off track, but you just have to get back on the track without hitting these 3 little pontoon things here. Because those are the only things there that invalidate your lap or give you warnings or anything like that. So, yeah. You've just got to get back on before you hit these. But it is a little bit of a guessing game. But yeah, the main thing I found here is yeah, just hit my mark at the 50, get to the apex. It helps. I was probably turning in a little bit late a lot of my practice laps. So for me, turning in that little bit early to get to the curb so the curb can help me rotate was a good mental marker for me to hit, for me to be able to come through here quickly. As this was just a huge pain to do. This track is very awful for hot laps, but once you get racing on it, you'll fall in love. I love this track racing. Hot lapping is probably one of my least favourite. I kind of have to say I like it though, seeing I've technically won here twice, but technically not. Yeah. But yeah, curb helps you rotate. You're just trimming this on a potato. Yeah, that's basically it. If it does get really bad, just let me know and I'll just pause for a couple seconds and wait for it to regain itself. I'm happy to pause and wait for it. Yeah. Before I overcomplicate that, I'm just going to move on, if that all made sense. Okay, now, in my opinion, the deadliest corner on the track. This can go wrong in so many ways, because there are so many things you have to do to get it right. In different cars, it's probably safer, but for me in the McLaren, and for me when I raced it in the Mustang, this was probably the corner that was the hardest for me. This corner is all about trail braking. If you can't trail brake, this corner is it's gonna be a bit of a pain. Yeah, so coming into here, my reference is, I'm pretty sure it's the end of this curb, but you brake way before it. So I'm braking here, but it's really just that length. I'm looking for the same sort of distance. My reference is that outside curb. But I'm obviously braking probably two car lengths back of that mark. And another thing to point out is when I'm hitting the brakes, if you look where my car's pointed, it's towards that, right on the edge of that that curb on the inside. That's my first mental marker to get to. When I think of through the corners, I think mental markers, as I'm sure eventually you'll figure out. That's how I drive. I hit every corner, I hit a checklist. I hit a mental mark, and then the next one, and then the next one, and that's how I hit my marks through the corner. So first mental mark done. We've hit the braking marker. Second one is we've hit our apex. You don't want to hit this inside curb, because it has bounces in it and ripples that will just throw the car out and it will kill you. See how the car bounces a little bit? I must have got on it like a tiny little bit. Yeah, like I hit it that tiny little bit, and anything more than that can kill you, and it will. So just be very careful. Now all the way in here, I'm trail braking. So, and then, yeah, slowly trail braking into the corner. I'm trying to read what they're saying at the same time. I'm getting distracted. That's my bad. But yeah, just trail braking, and then really just making very slight adjustments with the brake pedal and then the accelerator. So here by this point, I'm basically coasting. I'm going to run it through really slow from the apex point, actually. So trailing off. Now I'm coasting, and then sort of once the car's settled over that bump, by this point, I'm just making very slight adjustments. So it's accelerator if I think I need a little bit more, brake if I've gone a little bit too far, and just sort of dance it in between that limit so that I can get far enough out to the left to the point where I know I've hit the sweet spot to get it turned in, hit the throttle early, get to my apex, shift up so I get better acceleration out, and then guide the car out, hit the my point on the side, and then obviously set up for the next corner. But this can be very, very tricky. If you get it wrong, you're going to get it very wrong. Is what happened with me. But I'll play it through with a bit of audio so you can sort of hear what it sounds like. But yeah, it's one of those hard corners to explain. The point I look for is, I'm sure you can see sort of at this part of the track. See how it, on the rubber line I'm looking, how it's sort of it's fairly slow out to the outside of the track, and then it curves a lot right in this sort of section. This section here, that's where I aim for my car to be before I make that last turn into the corner. So for me, that's this point. It's very hard to see, but the reference I did use during the race was these little, they're tiny, tiny little things. These little plates here, they actually give me a good reference to where my car needs to be. It's very easy to get lost in on this track because there's 153 something different layouts. But yeah, these little plates here, they just give me a good marker to know where I am in the corner, to know where my car needs to be by that point. I'm further enough to the left here. I've got the car slowed up enough so I'm not going to understeer off into oblivion. I can hit my apex with the speed I'm going, and then I get on throttle, get out of the corner, and getting back over to the right for this left. Does that make sense? That was I probably half butchered that.
I'm glad you're recording the slogan, is all I'm saying, because like there's no way, unless mine is even more potato than everybody else's, but there's no way I could tell what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Awesome.
We're through Gilded.
I'll just keep moving anyway. Anyway, staying to the right. As far to the right as you can get for this. It's this corner I actually don't have off memory. My point... Oh, hold on. Yeah, no, I know where I am now. I need to go into here. So my braking marker in here is the start of this curb here. So I hit my marker there. That's checklist number 1. And then point out towards this podium sign, like as you brake. So I'm braking here and I'm pointing straight towards that Fanatec sign. And then again, slowly trail off. Stay about mid-track, and then this corner's so deceptive. Oh, pardon me. I'm having like weird indigestion. It's like a weird mid-track sort of thing, and the corner goes on forever. You think you need to slow up less than what you do. You can get on the power. It's a mental mess with what you can see. So for me, getting this right every time, it was all about process. It's hitting my marks. And it just went back to the same checklist. So inside curb, out towards the podium sign, keep it mid-track, wait till I can see the that 500 games, 505 games, Assetto Corsa thing, semi in the middle of my screen. That was my sort of sign. It was that, and it was looking at the apex, seeing where my car is, and sort of figuring out, because again, this is another really annoying corner. Ironic that I said that this was good with braking markers, this track. Just to see when I can get on it, because you can get on it before the apex. Don't mistake that, because you can. Now, here, in my opinion, again, I think I don't reckon I could have done this corner better if I tried. This, for whatever reason, was just a really good corner. I mean, it helps that I can rotate the car on throttle, because this corner seems like it needs a lot more rotation at the back half of the corner that you can't do beforehand. So it can be really tricky. If you can do that, try and rotate the car a little bit more on throttle. As you can see, that's like, if I just play it through a little bit here, you can see just how much that sort of saves me here. It just brings the nose around a little bit and just helps me stay on the power and carry the speed. My suggestion, if you can't do that, is probably just have the car a car width wider. Not by much, just a little bit, so you stay out to the right a little bit more, and you can square off the apex a bit more. You'd be pointing out towards the corner, therefore you would have done your rotation a little bit later in the corner. Yeah, that would be my best suggestion with how to do that. Track limits. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. No, I was just going to say, like, just beware of track limits here.
Yeah.
Push wide.
I was getting there. And then track limits is these little two sticky uppy things again. Get close to them, sure. Don't hit them. Yeah.
I was involved in and saw lots of incidents and the back markers in this corner as well.
Yeah.
Because I reckon everyone just tries to throw it up the inside. And
it's one of those... Yeah. It's one of those corners that...
Yeah, same with the previous corner.
Yeah, it's one of those corners that you can kind of do that, but then it like, by here, you know how long the braking phase is in this corner. And it is very easy to come up the inside someone here just by literally driving it down their inside. It's one of those sort of corners. But what a lot of people don't realize is how much it chokes up here. Like, by this point, there's no way there's a car width on the inside. Or like that. By this point, there's no way you're getting both cars through here. If there's someone on my inside, there's no way there's two cars coming in here. So I get, by the start of the corner, they're thinking, oh yeah, let's drive up his inside. But then by the second half of the corner, you're both really compact and really tight and bumping off each other, and because there's just no... This is a setup corner, in my opinion. This isn't a pass corner. If you're a lot quicker and you can get the job done under brakes, sure, go for it. But if you're still side by side by this point, you've got to think about what you're going to do, because it's just going to end badly, just because of how much it chokes up. Yeah, okay. Second last corner. This little section here is probably my favourite part of the track, because it's the easiest and not a pain in the ass, and because it's the end of a lap, and we hate hot lapping this track. I'm so funny. Everybody laugh. Anyway.
Get rid of the hot lapping part. That's how much I like this track.
Yeah. The braking into here, end of this red and white. A little bit after, I was a bit optimistic. My bad. Heads for me. Go, Breno.
You can do. The Lambo could probably go about a car length after. Mustang probably as well. I know the McLaren's a little bit.
I should say, yeah, the McLaren brakes, they're awful. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on how much you want to trail into the corner. This one, again, just like every corner at Paul Ricard, basically has a bunch of different lines that you can take.
Yep. For me, I get the braking done very early here, so I'm done. By now, I'm done with the brakes. My mental one, I'm gonna run you through my mental checklist again, because that's the best way I can explain this. So, first checkpoint is hit the brakes. Second checklist is get straight to the inside curb, as it hooks you around, and it's a shorter run. It's a shorter distance between this corner and the setting up for the next. Therefore, you save time. On the curb hooks the car around, and then that feeds you straight into here. Now, a misconception for this corner is that you have to get all the way over to the left, because you don't. Going over to all the way out to the curb on the left actually sort of it costs you time, because you're driving more track than you have to. So for me, that's probably even a little wide for me, if I'm honest. Is it? No, I think that's okay. Probably a car width or so off the outside curb is probably about right. This might be a little... That might be a little bit wide, but it's still sort of the same concept. It's probably... It's in the range from the middle of the middle of my screen and half a car width to the left and half a car width to the right. Not even to the right. Not even to the... Sorry. It's the general area of where my car's pointing now. I'm just going to say that to simplify it. And yeah, just hit the brake. Oh, what was my braking point? I think so, actually. It might have been guess. Oh no, it was these plate things. Now this is so finicky, it's not funny. Everyone's going to hate me for it. It's a patch of grass. There's one little thing there, right? You don't brake on that one, but you need to know what's... never mind, you do brake on that one. I think there is a third one. See, I'm not lying. So the first one is right on the corner there. It's right here. That's the first one you see. You don't brake on that one. The second one you see is there. That's the one we brake on. As soon as your front tyres get in line with that, that's when you're hitting the brakes. Going down a gear, in a first, getting the car turned in, on the power as soon as you can. Don't hit the inside curb like me, because I'm stupid. No, I just sort of misjudged that a little bit. It's very tiny. But it just sort of picks the rear up and kicks the rear around, and it sort of bogs the car a little bit. But try not to hit the inside curb, run it all the way out to the left-hand side. Be very careful of the track limits, which is, again, the yellow sausage curbs. Wow, I'm close to those. Thank God I didn't have any more camber on the car.
I'm pretty sure you can actually hit those.
Can you?
Yellow ones there. You just can't hit the...
Or is it the pontoon thingies?
Things
Is it standy-uppy things?
I would just mention here, most of the time, if you do go wide, you lose time. So track cuts aren't so much an issue, but invalidating your whole lap, definitely.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I think that's about it. And then I just go over to the right to set up for the next lap. I don't know the exact time for that, because this is the really annoying part of the replay where it goes to the next session as soon as I hit the line. It was like barely quicker than a 53.492. I think it was a 53.47 something, possibly. I can find out if you need me to, but it's about there. I can run through at full speed, and then...
What format do we have? Does anyone know for the race?
I couldn't tell you.
65 and a mandatory pit. Hang on, let me have a look.
yeah, I don't know.
Also,
Mhm.
if I could just interject, I know some of you guys will know because you're over at OLR, but after their track walks, they do run little practice races with the people that are there. I just wanted to ask if that's something that you guys think would be beneficial, because I personally think it would be. It would be good. It helps you race around other cars as well, which you don't get to do too much with hot lapping and that sort of thing. Granted, it's going to be pretty small, but like 15-minute race, 10-15-minute race or something, just so you practice the start, practice the pit lane entry, that sort of thing. I just want to get the general consensus.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'd be keen, but it's
Yeah, I
already
like that
running a
idea.
little bit late for me.
Yeah, fair.
Yep.
I
All right.
get up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, no, that's
Lovely.
fair. Like having some discussions and seeing if we can get one that just runs in the background with the track. Like I know we've got that other public lobby server that's always running 24/7, but I'm hoping we can get that changed to the current GT3 weeks track, and then people can jump on and do like short races at any time. But obviously after the race we'll have a couple more people, so
Yep, we do have some things planned for hopefully moving over to Discord and all that soon for this.
It's a 53,482.
Oh, there you go. Just off a 7. Damn.
So, Harry, just to answer your question, 65 minutes with one mandatory stop for fuel. So pretty typical.
How would tyres go, do you reckon, for a full
You wouldn't change them.
65?
You'd be doing the same.
good
Basically, I would basically be doing the same. Actually, Paul Ricard tyre wear.
It depends on what the temperatures are, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like,
Does anyone know the temperatures?
It says 14C ambient, so we're looking like 19, 18, 25, something like that, I reckon.
Oh, you should be. You
I
should
reckon
be
it's something
okay.
for your monitor.
Yeah. I think that's a testing point. That is a good question though. I would say it's very doable to do with one set. If you're doing race runs or something and you're losing like a second or so, I think the general consensus, if you're losing about a second a lap, then that's probably when you're at the point where you can go new tires. Is that how much it is?
It's tough. So like Paul Ricard let's like round up to 2-minute laps. So we're looking at 61, sorry, not 60, 31, 32 laps. Will be 32, 33 laps, say. Your second stint would then be 16 laps, say, and to make up the 25 seconds or so that you lose by changing tyres, that's what, 1.6, 1.8 seconds a lap or something. But then again, like that's just for it to be the better strategy, like assuming that you can do, like your tyres degrade and you don't make mistakes and that sort of thing. But as your tyres degrade, obviously, especially at a track like Paul Ricard, it's very easy to four-wheel slide, make mistakes, go a little bit deep, go wide, especially the fast corners at the top of the straight. So it might even be more beneficial to change tyres halfway, because then it prevents those mistakes from occurring, which are obviously going to lose you more than the 20 seconds or so over the course of a stint. So that's usually how I look at it.
Yep. All right. I'm going to quickly run through this with full speed just so I can end the recording and get all that done, and then I can answer some questions afterwards. Easy. So that does us for the track walk for Paul Ricard. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming. I'm more than happy to answer some questions for whatever you guys have. Either shoot me a DM. I'll stay now a little bit as well. But yeah, don't be afraid to shoot me or Breno any questions. Any replays of laps you guys have that you want us to have a quick squiz at. We're both more than happy to do that.